Hey guys, after the recent success of the last Can You Beat challenge, I think we'll be turning this into a series. Before we begin though, I do truly want to say thank you for everybody who watched the video and commented. It means more than you guys know, and also to anybody who just gave me a chance and found my content for the first time. I appreciate all of you. Okay, enough of the sappy stuff, let's get into some more arm-wrenching masochism. Today, we will be taking a mini side quest in the Spider-Man series as we await the release of the newest web-swimming delight Insomniac is cooking up. Marvel's Miles Morales is an excellent and charming game in which the audience familiarizes themselves with the roots of Miles. Today, however, I will be ignoring everything that makes this game great by putting myself in the hypothetical position of a real Spider-Man. Today we find out, can you beat Spider-Man Miles Morales without taking damage? The rules for this run are simple. If I take even a tortilla slap to the face worth of damage, I must restart from the most current checkpoint. I'm not gonna lie boys, I thought this was going to be way easier than my first Crusade. This game takes the average person about 7 hours to complete, but I am no average gamer. I enjoy delving into the mystic arts of the gaming community and answering questions nobody asks to fuel my own sense of belonging and accomplishment. I don't know why I'm making this so complicated, you guys aren't stupid. Trying to complete a game without taking damage takes a little longer than the average playthrough of the game. And with new enemies, weapons, and harder boss fights, I was in for a great Halloween treat. As with the last video, we will be playing on the game's hardest available difficulty, just to make me feel even more warm and fuzzy on the inside. Miles was the second Spider-Man to be given authority to patrol the streets of New York, and with both of them working together, there was absolutely nothing that could go wrong. And you guys know, I would never lie to you. Listen, I presume that two super-powered beings would be able to handle following a police escort, but that was foolish of me. I should have known we would need an inciting incident in a coming-of-age story. Miles may have messed up, but he swore an oath to protect the civilians of New York at all costs, and that was exactly what he was going to do. While Pete handled the big boy, Miles was shooed away like a fly to handle these measly escapees, and I was immediately given a quick kick to my kneecaps. Still, after all these years and many challenge runners here on YouTube, Insomniac still has no quarrels about pampering the challenge running community, and therefore I was forced to take damage not 5 seconds into this run. I know this is devastating news, but as the great Sun Tzu once said, even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. I don't know what that has to do with this challenge, but I just wanted to fit a Sun Tzu quote in there. After a quick rampage through the streets and the mall, as well as blowing up a whole city block in less than an hour, Miles and Pete were staring death and destruction right in the face, and it was time for Miles to take charge. Get it? Like, charge? Okay, I'm sorry. In a true cinematic masterpiece, Miles flung himself at the overgrown Russian and hoped for the best. Somehow, he was able to master his newfound ability using sheer will and intuition. This will be a useful tool for the remainder of the run, as it stuns and incapacitates most enemies. But for this big boy, it merely allows us to get a few hits in before we must retreat once again. With our newfound Superman punch that would leave Roman Reigns in absolute shambles, we were able to defeat this Goliath after only one silly mess up. Evil Elon Musk then came along and assured us that Rhino would be held till the police could arrive to detain him, so Pete and I scurried away as fast as our broken bones could carry us. And I was quickly reminded why he wears a mask. This is a quick PSA to Insomniac. Please bring the OG Peter back. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wants this. Anyways, as this is our solo game, Peter's out on vacation and it was up to us to keep New York safe in his stead. Crime wasted no time in establishing itself with a rookie spider on the case. It became incredibly obvious to Miles that a new gang called the Underground was hell-bent on creating chaos through the streets of New York by inflicting as much damage as possible. Ooh, wait. Wasn't that the guys from the last game? Yes, but these guys have crossbones weapons for hands. Sadly, these underlings on the hardest difficulty are not easy to defeat, and they costed me many resets. But eventually, I was able to dodge, dip, dive, and dodge all the way home to my mom's Christmas gathering. Here, we met an old friend named Finn, who could never conceive of betraying us in the future. Oh. Also, we learned that everyone in the apartment complex is completely blind. Miles and his sidekick Genki created an app that allows anybody to report crimes or side quests for us to complete. Funny enough, the first and only side quest we will be conquering in this playthrough was given to us by Miles' uncle. He disclosed that the Underground was wreaking havoc and destroying some train lines or something. I don't really know. But then they went full terrorist mode and started planting bombs on the train tracks. I'm not gonna lie here, boys. This was the first section that had me quaking in my Tims. The Underground was a formidable and well-coordinated foe, and it was clear to me that I was going to need to master the combat in order to get through this game intact. Well, it was that or die. A lot. But the important lesson here is that we successfully defeated these underground goons and met up with our friend, Finn, for a little bit of good old nostalgia. This, however, was only the calm before the storm, because Finn omitted that she was the conductor of this little group, and I, for one, was entirely shocked. Okay, that was a little much, huh? See, after we saw Miles' mom's campaign get trashed by the no-good evildoers in a scene that resembled one in the previous video, it was time to get to Spider-Manning and teach this gang a lesson in the art of face smashing. After watching what happened at the last political rally we attended, I was not going to let that happen again. We easily took care of these criminals and were quickly on our way to a bridge where the underground were stealing from evil Steve Jobs. This fight was another doozy, and I was slowly getting an inclination that this run may be harder than the Spider-Man one. For some reason, I couldn't get the enemy patterns down, and this section took me 21 resets, but eventually I was out of there, and then whoa. I was the one that helped you guys. You know, there's a race joke here, but it's a little too easy. Thanks to the fact that Miles can turn invisible somehow, we were able to escape the deadly high-tech army here to protect the highly important Oh wait, sorry, those are the dudes from the last game. With the ability to turn invisible at our very fingertips, this run would be far too easy and the video would be over in mere seconds, so I will not be using this ability. Oh, it is also a good time to mention that I'm not going to be upgrading any abilities, skills, gadgets, or suit upgrades for the duration of this run. While sneaking through Finn's secret stash, we found out that she was only in this for evil Warren Buffett's blood. I didn't really know why or care, but Miles wanted to find out, so that's what we did. This next Roxxon part was pretty easy, and I was able to defeat them and make the discovery that my uncle was a weirdo who dressed up in costumes to fight people. I mean, who would ever do something like that? We finally found the phone we were looking for and discovered the reason behind Finn's hatred. Roxxon had created something called Newform that would allow all of Harlem to be operated without the need for electricity. It only had one small downside. It gave everyone who ever came close to it the Black Plague. Oh, and evil Bill Gates also killed Finn's brother right in front of her, so that didn't really help. Miles knew what he had to do. We grabbed that reactor with the force of a hydraulic press until it blew up. I admire Miles' tenacity and grit to make Harlem a safer place, but I also hate him because he single-handedly made me lose the challenge. You see this? Yeah. This is what I like to call being slapped in the face over and over again by Insomniac. But for those following along, we will just have to forget about this and move on. Getting out of Roxxon proved to be a little difficult, but I was amped when Miles and Aaron started working together to pound our foes into the dirt. There was a new type of enemy introduced to this tasty bowl of feces, but luckily my venom powers seemed to be the answer for everything, and we were out of there in only 4 resets. After that heart-wrenching and totally unforeseen twist in the story, Uncle Aaron told us to go behind Finn's back, gain her trust, and go undercover into the underground. Overall, this area is really no big deal if you're the best gamer within a single square centimeter of where this recording took place, and I was able to dismantle the underground goons with relative ease. Though, this is where the game introduced a sword enemy that proved to be a tad difficult, and I was forced to cross my fingers and rely on my horrendous reflexes to evade their attacks. Inside the secret underground vault, we were alerted to a Newform reactor that needed exploding, and we went to do just that. This next part was more of the same, picking off enemies here and there one by one with relative ease, but you all should already be astounded by my gaming expertise at this point. Inside, however, everything changed. We were once again given new enemies to fight, but like everything else in this game, this big boy was allergic to my venom attacks, and we gave him far too many milligrams than the recommended daily dose. Then we had to sit through a chase sequence, which I feel like are in every game, no matter what, and Finn ultimately discovers our secret identity. She basically hated me more than evil Mark Cuban at this point. I had lied to her in order to sneak into her gang, and I was the one trying to stop her obsession with the Newform reactors. But her hatred for me would only grow more in the next 30 seconds. After revealing himself to Finn, Miles asks his Uncle Aaron for advice, to which he replied, "Don't worry about it, just make beats." Not sure what that has to do with the situation and horrible circumstances Miles is under, but okay, Aaron. Miles also told Aaron that he was going to meet up with Finn to sort this whole situation out. I'm sure that would have went swimmingly if Aaron hadn't ratted us out faster than the new guy in a prison unit, and Rhino showed up to destroy our only chance at reconciliation with Finn. Now I would have to listen to how stupid Miles was for the rest of eternity.
I can't believe this.
We found out that evil Elon Musk was behind the kidnapping, and I for one was entirely shocked. I didn't even mean to do that, but it's staying in the video. As Roxxon continued to torture me in ways that could not have felt good, there's another race joke here, but I'm not gonna make it. These Roxxon goons may have had the impression that they were hurting me, but I lived for these moments, and Miles let loose all the energy he was absorbing in a magnificent blast. Escaping from Roxxon proved to be pretty difficult, and Finn and I were eventually greeted by our favorite angry Russian. He had brand new armor that made my venom powers feel like he was being hit by the Super Soaker XP100 AP. This boss fight was quite tedious, as after you reset, you unfortunately lose all the venom juices you had saved up until that point. Needless to say, this sucked. Bad. But with a little perseverance and after a small break, I was able to topple this giant mountain. We discovered that Finn continuing with her plan would result in total destruction of Harlem, but when we tried to tell her that, she for some reason decided she was no longer going to partake in this partnership, and she let us know. Seems like everything could have been avoided if Finn decided to use her brain and listen to us, but unfortunately we're in a video game and she fell for the oldest trick in the book. After this beating Finn generously bestowed upon us, the worst kept secret identity kept getting worse as our mom found out about our cosplaying obsession in our free time. And then we were immediately kidnapped. Again. I mean, for someone with spidey sense, you would assume he would be more aware of his surroundings, but I would like to be able to sit here and tell you guys that Aaron stood no chance, but that would be a big lie. He was proving to Miles that an old dog can in fact learn new tricks. He could turn invisible, shoot lasers at me, and even clone himself, giving him an unfair advantage in our game of catch. 25 resets later, I was finally able to defeat my uncle in our annual 1v1, but it was not easy, guys. This was it. We had finally made it. The place it all began. Finn and I at our very first creation, fighting over the fate of Harlem and using our science project to do it. Or at least, that's what I thought. And instead she ran away, sticking her dogs on me like the Karen she is, and forcing me to combat yet another group of enemies. And let me tell you guys, these boys were not messing around. They beat me like a child does to their piñata, and it felt like there was nothing I could do to overcome their sheer numbers. Of course, I was just being silly because any challenge can be overcome if you just believe. Do it! After that absolute tornado of feces, it was finally time. The boss fight to end this insane challenge. At this point, I was already at 147 resets and I was not looking to add any more to that tally. Finn was by far the hardest boss fight in the Spider-Man franchise to date, and it truly was a battle to the death. I had to master the art of not dodging too early, but this was no easy feat. The final battle essentially had 4 different phases, and with each completion of the previous phase, I grew more and more impatient. Finn, on the other hand, only grew more stronger. Her weaponry and aggression increased in ways I had never seen, and she was ready to destroy me like she did Rhino. But I was no endangered species. I fought back, dodging her razor blades, missiles, and any other attack she threw my way. Eventually, after 48 attempts, I was ready to sacrifice myself for the greater good, and finally put a stop to Finn's evil plan. After Miles absorbed about 8 volts of electricity, Finn wanted to finish her arc in a bang and took me into outer space for one last ride. How the fall or explosion didn't kill Miles, we'll never know, but I had finally conquered this game and found out that you cannot beat Spider-Man Miles Morales without taking damage. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, it truly does mean the world to me. This run took me 7 hours and 200 resets, but we were finally able to do it. I appreciate anyone who stuck with me till the end, and I would love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for other challenges down below. I'll give you guys a little secret though, another challenge is on the way for a more brooding superhero. But with all that out of the way guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.